All right. So this is so funny. I have not done a TikTok live in so long. I'm like, do I even know how to do this anymore? So, hello. Hello, folks. This is Beth from Destination Decluttered. From Destination Decluttered, as if that's some, great Eastern syndicate, No, it's just me. I call my coaching well, I can't even talk anymore. It's so funny. My declutter life coaching process and system and coaching projects, I call it Destination Decluttered because I love to travel. I have loved road trips pretty much ever since I got my driver's license. Good morning, Jen B. Nice to see you. And Victoria, this is the romper room portion of the show where I pretend I have my mirror up like Miss Jean and say good morning to people who are coming on in. Come on in. The weather's actually the weather's kind of poop where I am now. I'm waiting for that wonderful summer weather that I love so much. But anyhow, welcome, welcome. I haven't done one of these in about 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that, because I was off the digital grid. As I mentioned, I love to travel. I love road trips. And hey, Jeannie. And what I want to offer is, the fact that actually my friend Suzanne tells me I offer things too much, but I like to. It's like, here, I want to offer this. Here, I'm offering it to you. You don't have to pick it up, right? Annalisa, Pixel Pitbull, nice to see you. You don't have to pick it up, but I'm just going to offer it. It's kind of like I'm walking around with like a tray of hors d'oeuvres, hors d'oeuvres. And I'm saying, hey, I've got some little tasty morsels here that might help you think about your clutter in a different way, feel about your clutter in a different way, so you do something different about your clutter. Annalisa, I had a great break. I did. I also had some drama, which I am not interested in. I am not a drama queen at all. I think drama is just a waste of energy. However, it also makes me appreciate how much awesomeness I have going on. So anyhow, I am here. Look what I did. I hope I prepared myself because I said I would be on TikTok Live for the next 2 hours. It's been a while, so I decided to make it up. So what I would love for you to do is think about one of the things. Here's a little hors d'oeuvre tray of an offer. Is many people have said to me when I do my TikTok lives that they find it useful to use this time where I'm just kind of chatting in the background to declutter while I'm talking, almost like a podcast. And I will tell you, like, you don't have to look at the screen while I'm doing this TikTok live. Really, the only thing I will ever do besides make goofy faces and point and use my hands as gestures is I will point to two things, and you can envision this in your mind. Think of yourself on a map. You're here right now at a pin in your life on the map on the road trip called your life. This is where you are. Now you have stuff you did before. Some of it's great, some of it's not so great. You've probably got clutter. It's okay. Here we are today. What I would love for you to start thinking about is this other pin that is ... down the line. That's your destination. And this is what I say. Here's where you are today. What do you want your life to look and feel like? And how do you want it to function? If life is too big, and this is where I kind of intertwine my life coaching certification with my decluttering coaching, is life can be too overwhelming, too big. Chunk it down. The overwhelm, chunk it down. How do you want your home to look and feel and function? I've been thinking about that a lot lately. When you start to define your destination, it almost acts like a North Star, because then you're able to compare what you have now to what you want and say, what works here, I'm going to keep it. And then what doesn't work so well, I am going to find a way to remove that so my life starts to look a lot more the way I want it to. Okay? And I use the road trip, the driving metaphor. So you're going to hear me talk about roadblocks and backseat drivers and you being the driver. You are the driver of your life. You have the ability to steer your life in any direction. You have the ability to step on the gas and move forward. You have the ability to detour yourself away from where you want to go. You have the ability to just stay and park and be like, nope, going to do the same thing, going to stay parked here. It's all good. Okay? And then what I show up to do is I am here to help you and answer your questions about decluttering. So you can listen to me and declutter. Here's an easy peasy thing that's wicked easy to get started with. Is think of, I with the way I coach, I have kind of invented in my mind like 3 layers of clutter. 3 levels of clutter, 3 categories of clutter, and in this kind of order that you go in. So while you're listening to me, maybe just think about, what is the surface clutter in your home? What's the stuff that's on horizontal surfaces that doesn't necessarily belong where it is? I bet you anything, if you just listen to me while you're talking, as I said, I'm going to be here for the next 2 hours. You may not be here for 2 hours, but for whatever time you have, how about getting up, moving around, moving on up, right? I've been seeing that on the TikTok. It cracks me up. Why don't you like get up and just start to, put the trash in the trash can, put the recycles in the recycle bin, put the dishes in the sink, put the dishes from the sink into the dishwasher, put the clean dishes into the cabinets, put the laundry. Do the little piddly things that don't require a lot of thought or emotion. Work on that and notice how, this is what I say, is no matter how little, if 5 minutes is going to be better than no minutes at all. And every little bit helps. Every little bit is going to be progress towards what you want things to look and feel like, okay? Now, I know I'm kind of starting off a lot with this kind of preamble, we the people and all that. I am also Gen X, so if you haven't met me yet, you will know that pretty much I have a really steady stream of pop culture references that go through my head and they come out my mouth. What I also want to just offer really quickly is, because I did this, I prepped for this call because I'd been on a while, and I did 2 things where I'm kind of psyched about, and I want to share it with you. One is that if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me, that's something I offer. I do 10-week segments and things like that. And the very first step of doing that is to schedule a consultation. Now, while I was off the digital grid and traveling, I did not have my consultation calendar open. But this morning, I added a bunch of consultation dates for next week. Excuse me. So if you're interested in getting a consultation, the calendar's there. You pick a date, you pick a time. I will email you and we'll get that started. Okay, so that's one thing. But the other thing too is I have a Destination Decluttered email mailing list. Now, those of you who are on it, you know how I don't spam you. The really one cool thing that I love to do to say thank you for being on that list is I do 2 things, and I might do a third. One of the things is immediately when you sign up, you go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, and you just sign up. There's a form on the join page and also at the bottom of the main list. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to set up the buttons. I forgot to turn on the buttons on my website to get you to the consultation calendar. I will do that after 11 o'clock. Okay, so if you want to schedule a consultation with me, 11 o'clock Eastern, that's where I am. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting back in the swing of things. I will do that. I'm a human, I'm not a machine, so I do these things. So on the website, go to my website, go to sign up for the mailing list. You get a couple cool things. Immediately attached to the welcome email, you get a printable habit tracker that I use that's road trip based, that not only gives you 10 easy peasy things to pay attention to declutter, but also a blank one so you can start to habit track the habits you want in your life. The other thing I did, and I want to know if it worked or not, so pop me an email when you get the welcome email, is I've already scheduled the monthly members only on the website, members only group Zoom call that's just for people on the email mailing list. I've already scheduled it for Thursday, July 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern. I have put the Zoom link to that Zoom in the welcome email that you get when you sign up for the mailing list. Now, if you're on my mailing list already, I will be sending that email link out to you, or that Zoom link out to you separately. But I thought it might be easy to, when I'm welcoming people onto the mailing list, to say, hey, here's the free Zoom, okay? So if you're interested in that, destinationdecluttered.com, mailing list, and then after 11, after I sign off for this, I will go back and manually turn on the calendar thing if you want to do a consultation. Okay, enough of that blah blah, okay? Nice to see everybody again, and here I am. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane, something like that. Here we go. Oh, good. Annalisa said, you telling me to take the drama out of my paperwork helped me so much. Can I offer this to you guys? I take the drama out of freaking everything except for the things that bring you joy. Drama is just like an energy. It can be an energy suck when it's attached to something that doesn't deserve drama. It's just paperwork. It's just clutter. You know what's between you right here and where you want to be? It's just a bunch of stuff you bought at Target. okay? Or you inherited from somebody. It's just a bunch of physical objects that are getting in the way, that are almost piled up in front of your metaphorical car, that are just not allowing you to drive forward. So what we got to do is we got to get out of the car, look and say, what are these things? You move them to the side of the road, and then you can move forward, okay? I love it that you're getting ready for a yard sale this weekend and your kids are helping. Oh my God, I'm so all about that. Everybody, think of this. If we all knew how to declutter, if we were taught this type of thing when we were growing up, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. We'd be living in decluttered homes. But no, we didn't. And that's okay, as my new Gen X mantra is. Decluttering is a life skill. You are never too young or old to learn how to declutter. Because decluttering, in my mind, and think about this, decluttering is decision making about what you keep in your life and what you remove from your life, what you add to your life and what you remove for your life. And that is a really important thing, not just for how your home looks and feels, but like the experiences you want to have in your life, the food you put in your mouth, the jobs you take, the people you hang out with, deciding what stays and what goes and what's going to light you up and make you live a life you love. That is a really cool life skill. And I love that your kiddos are helping, because I have people that, come up to me and they'll be like, hey, I'm trying to do all the decluttering, particularly ladies, females, women, society has kind of inferred and both inferred subtly and overtly that it's our job to take care of the house. I mean, here's the funny thing. I am so aware of that. I coach about clutter. It's just my husband and me in our home. And I will still find myself saying, thank you for helping me with that. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, this isn't like, oh, thank you for helping me with what I'm supposed to do. No. So I have to correct myself and say, thank you for doing your part. So you get getting the people that you live with in your home involved in it is a wicked important thing. Okay. There you go. See, German made 95. You know me. Should I stay or should I go now? Every time I get to that point in my coaching, I'm channeling the Clash. I am. Yeah. Okay. Can't stay for full time today. Are you going to do 2 hours again soon? I probably won't. But what I will do is, instead of, and here I love this because this is me talking, kind of walking the walk about how I coach, is a little bit at a time is often better than a whole swath of time. Okay, so what I will do is, like today, I have a TikTok live scheduled for 2 hours. Tomorrow, I'm doing little bits where I show up at TikTok and then on the Facebook page and then the Instagram page and the YouTube page, all at destinationdecluttered.com. I've tried to keep that consistent. And then I think I've got an hour posted for Saturday and for Sunday, and I haven't even figured out next week, right? But a little bit can do a lot. Don't think that just because you can't be here for 2 hours, oh my gosh, oftentimes when we have a lot of time, we kind of fritter away some of it because we think we have so much of it. If you only have a small amount of time, you can get a lot done in that amount of time. If you have a bigger amount of time, you may be a little bit more lackadaisical, whatever. So but I will be doing the next many days. I show up a little bit at a time, like I encourage you to do. There we go. Okay. HD says, I live in a studio apartment and have a hard time with clutter on my island. No man is an island. Now I'm thinking of Gilligan's Island. Oh my gosh. Concentrate. Limited counter space. Okay, here's the thing I want to get curious about, HD, is what do you want your island to look like? How do you want your island to function? What lives permanently on your island? And I'm talking about, it's funny, I'm talking about like your kitchen island, but part of me is always like, your island. What's on your island? Like an aspirational, tropical getaway. But what do you have on your island? Like, I don't have an island, but I have counters. And I have certain things that live on my countertops, but very few things because I like it to be neat and orderly. But like, I have some canisters, I've got my knife block, and I have things that permanently live there. That's their homes. And the clutter on your surfaces, the clutter on your island, the clutter is the stuff that really doesn't live there. So just everybody, curiosity, okay? Get curious about what the stuff is on your island that you are considering clutter, and just get curious. Ask yourself why it's there. Why did I put that? Why is it there? Oh, I just kind of put that there. And then say, okay, is it there because I simply have a habit? Habits are the wonderful things that take the drama out of what you do. Get curious about your habits. Oh yes, I am in the habit of coming in and dumping that stuff on the island, and then not putting it where it's supposed to go for a certain amount of time so that it sits there, right? We all have surfaces. I mean, I come in for my stuff. I dump my things on the counter in what we call the nook in our home. And then, if it's there for a little bit, it's no problem. But when it stays for a while, when it starts to live there, but that's not where its home is, it's almost like squatters, it becomes clutter, So get curious about what you have on there and say, why is it there? Oh, I have a habit. Now, maybe what you can do is just use that as a temporary landing space, but just get in a better habit of putting stuff away in a sooner amount of time, okay? You don't necessarily have to be perfect and be like, oh my gosh, I have to take all my stuff and immediately put it in the fridge or, put it whatever. No, use those landing spots temporarily, And now I'm trying to think of like an analogy of like, planes land and then they move. A plane doesn't land and stay there on the tarmac. That wouldn't be good. But its plane lands and it moves and then it goes away again, right? So allow it to be like a landing zip, or what do you call it? Like like the runway, something like that. Okay? Curiosity, people. I make it so freaking simple. Get curious about why your home looks and feels the way it is. Do not get judgy. The opposite of judgment. Judgment keeps you stuck. Curiosity creates possibility for you to be like, for change. Okay? That's how I coach. I talk about the unhelpful thoughts in your head, make you feel an unhelpful way in your heart, and then you do unhelpful things with your hands. But the opposite of that, the solution to your problem is located within the problem itself. So if you have an unhelpful thought, how can you flip it? How can you go opposite? What's the opposite of your unhelpful thought? It's a helpful thought. When you have a helpful thought in your head, you feel a helpful thought, you feel a helpful way in your heart, head, heart, and then with your hands, you just do something that's going to help you. Notice all these H's. I like to do those alliteration things, destination decluttered. It helps you do things that are going to get you where you're going. Okay? Okay. Patty Berger says, I have been stuck on a messy car, house, everything in my life is a mess. It's been a rough few years. Okay. That sucks that it's been a rough few years, but you know what? Let's see if you can do something about the things you can control. Maybe a few years is in the past and you're still reeling from it. Like I was traveling, and not that I'm reeling with it, but it's taken me a few days to get my stuff put away and stuff because I was tired and whatnot. But what I want everybody, Patty and everybody here to notice, including myself, is notice the words you use and how they make you feel. So I say this because when I do these TikTok lives, it's not like a Zoom call with one of my one-on-one clients or when the people on my mailing list, we do like the group Zoom. So we can't chat back and forth. So all I have to go on is the words that you have chosen, either consciously or subconsciously, to express how you feel. And one of the things I pay attention to is what I call the superlative words, the dramatic words, right? So this is like, everything, all the time, always, never, and I kind of do that because I'm not making fun of, I'm making light of a situation that, you know what, it could have been for a while, but when you think everything and always and never, those are overwhelm words. Those are words that make you feel heavy and crappy and stuck. So you don't know, you say to yourself, I don't know what to do. On the other side, if you say, it's not always like that. Sometimes it's different. It's not always, it's sometimes. Better thought, better feeling, better action. Okay? So look at it. And maybe your house is too much. Start with your car. Everybody. If your house decluttering is too huge, start with your car. Your car is small. And man, I've done this myself. Like my husband and I, he's a musician, and we were out, he was doing a gig. I don't know, like we were in upstate New York, or not even upstate. And we had a few hours to kill. He was practicing, and I went out and I literally like went to a car wash. And then I went and they had like unlimited vacuums, and I cleaned out our car and I vacuumed. I am telling you, my vibe rose by like 1,000,000% simply by cleaning out our car, cleaning out the windows. It was like, oh, I feel so much better. Start with your car. You can do that. It's going to feel so much better. And notice how, like when you do this, it's not just about how your home looks. Pinterest and HGTV and what's her face, Martha Stewart, and there's probably a more modern version of it, but whatever, I don't watch TV. It's about how you feel in your home, about how your home functions, about how your car functions. Think about it. When you clean out your car and you wipe out your windows, you drive better because you can see around you. You can anticipate something. You can also notice stuff outside your windows, like look at that cool diner, or hey, there's a place I want to stop, when your windows are clear. Okay? So it's not just about how your home looks. It is about how your home or your car feels and makes you feel when you're in it. And we're going for you feeling better so you do better. And when you do better, you take aligned action towards that life you want to live. Okay? So chunk that down, start small, and I don't know, everybody, why don't we just clean our cars today? All right? That'd be cool. Yes, see, Carol, you did the number one, overwhelming. Overwhelm. Yep. That is the word. The word. Let's take the power away from overwhelm. Oh crap, I don't have it. Okay, some of you have seen me before, and I have this inflatable globe that I use. It's out of my way here, and it's also deflated, so it's been a while. But I want you to think of overwhelm as just a feeling. The thought of I'm overwhelmed makes you feel a certain way. It makes you feel, ugh, I don't know what to do, so you stay stuck. You don't do anything with your hands, right? Head, heart, hands. The opposite of overwhelm is, instead of over, think down. Think of two things. One is you're pulling that overwhelm. Instead of being over you, you see you have control over it. And then you're going to chunk it down. You're going to put it down. You're going to chunk it down. And you are going to chunk down whatever is overwhelming you into small enough bits so you can take action, start moving, getting out of park into drive, so that you start moving towards your direction. So I don't know how small the segment has to be for you to do it, but if it's too big, chunk it down again. If you're not making progress, chunk it down again. As I said, I'm going to be here for 2 hours, but if you only have 5 minutes, set your timer on your phone now. If you have 5 minutes to declutter, 5 minutes can make a huge difference. I can unload my dishwasher and put away the dishes in less than 5 minutes. And then I'm done, and then I have a place for my dirty dishes to go into my thing. Okay? So remember, everybody, we are in control of our lives. We can control where we steer. We are the drivers. When we think of overwhelm, we say, nope, overwhelm, you're not going to get me. I can pull you down and I can cut you down into smaller bits so I can then start to move and start to whittle down on this. Think about every single big thing is a whole bunch of little things. Every single thing, even us, we people, are freaking like little neurons and little cells and stuff like that. The pyramids, right, are a bunch of blocks, Jay. You know, the whole Great Wall of China is a wicked bunch of blocks, all right? Every big thing is just a bunch of little things blopped together. You can pull away and you can start picking away at it, and it makes a difference, okay? There you go. Perfect pitch girl. I'm glad that I'm back too. Yeah. Where do we go? Yeah, taking out the drama. I've been busy cleaning, decluttering, being more positive, but my kids and BF just aren't. Okay, all right, here's the thing. We can't change other people. We can lead by example. We can encourage them to do things that we know will help them. But I mean, I'm not a parent, but I know it's kind of like that. What I would offer is, and I know it's easier said than done, but hey, everybody, let's just work on ourselves for the moment. You know how hard it is to even change yourself. When you have a goal and you're like, I want to do that, and then suddenly you do something counterintuitive. I want to lose weight, but there I am taking a second helping. I want to get strong, but I'm not showing up to take, to do weights. I want my skin to look better, but I'm not, whatever. How hard it is to change ourselves. It's even harder, nay, impossible to forcibly change somebody else. But what you can do is get curious about yourself and start changing yourself. And when you start changing yourself, you're going to show up different for yourself. And when you show up different for yourself, your vibe is going to change and you're going to show up different for other people. Instead of being judgy, maybe, you're going to, because you're not judging yourself, you're getting curious about yourself and your motives. You can then, instead of judging the people in your life, you can get curious about them. And maybe you rediscover the love and compassion you have for them to not be so judgy. And when they feel love and compassion and curiosity from you versus judgment. And I'm not saying that you're being judgy. I'm not saying that, but I know I can get judgy because I'm a human. But when I notice that, and then I replace that with love and compassion and concern, my vibe changes and our dynamic changes together. Okay? So show up for yourself. Change for yourself because you want to. Start to clean up your own mess. I'm not perfect. but I'm perfect for you. Isn't that a Grace Jones song? Anyhow, I'm not perfect, but I'm working on myself. And perfection is also not what we're striving for. We're striving for better. Think about that. Perfect to me is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Perfect is going to say, if I can't do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all. Guess what that just did? Made you stop. It made you be stuck instead of moving. But if you say, I'm going to make it better today, even today for 5 minutes, if you start right now between, it's what, 9:30 Eastern, like between now and 9:30, 5 minutes of doing anything decluttering is going to make your living space better. And then you are going to feel better inside. Okay? We're not going for perfect. Perfect is bullshit. We're going for better. Okay? So there you go. What do we get? How to get them starting better. Okay. Yeah, lead by example. Talk about, here's the thing. So when I start my coaching, this is how I would get you inspired. I say, what do you want your home to look and feel like? I would say to them, hey, with all sincerity, do you like how the house looks? Do you like how this looks and feels? Do you feel comfortable inviting your friends over? Do you want to invite your coworkers over? Don't you, how do you feel in this house? Does it feel good to you? I bet it doesn't. If it doesn't feel good to you, I bet it doesn't feel good to them. But then everybody start painting the picture of what you want your home to look and feel like and function. How do you want to feel when you're in there? When you get that spark of possibility that it could look and feel different, you're going to be more likely to take some action to get there. So what can they do to do that? Don't they want to have friends over and play games in their rooms? I don't know. I sound like a kid of the 70s because I am. But don't they want to have people over? Find a way to inspire them, to make them want to change their habits and that type of thing. Okay. Also, many of us haven't learned the skills of decluttering, of staying decluttered. That's why I coach about these things. And so they may not know what to do because you may not know what to do because maybe you didn't learn it yourself. So how can you, if you're trying to fix yourself and teach yourself and you're struggling, should it be any surprise that they're struggling with the same thing? How can you teach somebody something you don't really know how to do yourself? That's why I coach. That's why I show up and do these TikTok videos, because it's a skill that many of us have not learned because we were brought up by people from different eras who had different feelings about stuff. And they thought having a lot of stuff meant good things. It meant you made it, and security and all these things. And to a certain extent, sure. But after a certain point, it just weighs you down instead of lighting you up. There we go. Decluttering, they just make messes. Okay, Okay, there we go. Make house rules, not being judgy. Everyone has a role. See, I love this too, when everybody kind of chimes in with your own 2 cents, because, I only have my perspective. And I do take into account everything I've learned from all these TikTok lives I've done and my one-on-one clients. But everybody's got their own approach. And what I love is to say to people, find a system that works for you. Find a system that works for you, where you are in life, the way your brain works, because I work with people who have ADHD. Embrace the things that make you uniquely you, but also don't let that stop you from getting the life you want. Use the tools you have to get you to where you want, All right, here we go. What else do we got? We all have ADHD. It is true. Yep. Everybody does, There we go. I love it. Smartwatch just said, don't fear changes. New chances always come from changes. Yes. Here's the thing. Change. This is how our brains work. And maybe you'll get a kick out of how I think of it. I think of the thoughts in my head, my brain, both the conscious and subconscious, come from one of 2 places in my car. So I'm the driver in my car, as you are too. Your thoughts come from 2 places. They either come from the back seat. You've got some backseat drivers that fear change, so they want to keep you stuck. I should probably have my hands going over here and doing that, but then you also have a co-pilot. You have thoughts that your co-pilot thoughts. I am your co-pilot. This is your co-pilot speaking. I am the person in the passenger seat encouraging you to say change can be scary, but in a good way. Change doesn't always mean something to be feared. Change can change your life from the way it is now to the way you want it to be. But if you buy into the fear of change in general, you're going to stay stuck. Change can be wonderful. Change can be miraculous. The life I'm living now is because I dared to change some things back decades ago, change the course of my life, because I started driving consciously steering my life towards the things that meant a lot to me, the experiences, the people, the thoughts, the whatever that meant something to me. And now I fucking love my life. Not to drop the F bomb, but I was taking my morning walk this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, no matter what drama is going on externally, I always come back to, I love the fact that I freaking love my life. Now, my life is not your life. So your mileage may vary. Your life is your life, but I want everybody to be walking around thinking, I freaking love my life. So that's why I coach the way I do. And my clients will attest that it's not just about making your house look good. It's about the ripple effect that you're making your life feel good and making decisions that when you look back at this part of your life from your deathbed, you say to yourself, Thursday, June 22nd, 2023, I decided to change my life, and holy hell balls, am I glad I did it. Okay, so that's it. What do we got here? So fear holds us back. Fear holds everybody back. The opposite of that fear is love. Love is your co-pilot. Love is that tiny whisper saying, you can do it, you got this, take that next step forward. That I am kind of like the external manifestation of your internal co-pilot. Your internal co-pilot, you can do it voice is probably been drowned out by chattery, fear, scary backseat drivers. So it doesn't even have a chance. It goes up and they go ba 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 ba. And it's like, hey, but nope, ba ba ba. When I coach, we calm down the backseat drivers. We reassure them that it's nothing to be afraid of. And then when they're quiet, then we move forward in the right direction and we get there. And it's a repeatable thing that you just do all the time. So really quickly, since it's bottom of the hour and I used to do college radio, just want to reintroduce myself. My name is Beth, but I'd much rather you remember Destination Decluttered. If you haven't liked my TikTok page, please do so. That will allow you to get notified when I do these TikTok lives. Now, if you're just meeting me for the first time, it's probably because it was about a week and a half or so that I go off the grid sometimes. I go like just off social and I just live my life because I love to travel, and that's how I have constructed this life that I love. But when I'm back, I am back and I do TikTok lives. So if you follow my page, you will be notified when those happen. Also, if you want to kind of take the next step, is I have an email mailing list. If you go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, there's a join link where you can join the email list. You get two things immediately when you sign up for free. I don't spam you. I do just a couple of things. On your welcome email, you will receive I feel like Ron Popeil and his freaking knives or whatever. No, he was more like a pocket fisherman. You will get a PDF of a habit tracker that's kind of road trip inspired because I'm all about the road trip. This is a PDF. You can print it. You get it for free. You can print it out for the rest of your life. It's like a monthly type thing. Print it out for the rest of your life and use it to encourage yourself to have good habits. The other thing too is that when you're on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, you will be invited to a once a month free group Zoom only for people on the mailing list. I have actually experimented with right today. I put the link to that Zoom in your welcome email, so immediately you should get that when you sign up today. destinationdecluttered.com/join. It's free. I pretty much do it in case like any of these social media platforms we have go dark. We still have a way to kind of keep in touch. Okay. The last thing too is I do one-on-one coaching. You start with a consultation, and I have a calendar you can look on for that. But you know what? I just got back from vacation and I did a lot of things, and then I forgot to actually turn on the consultation things. What do you call it? Calendar on my website. So after 11 a.m. Eastern, I will do that. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, the very first step is to schedule a consultation. You can do that like afternoon time today. I have some for the next 7 days, get you on my calendar, 10 weeks, yada, yada. Okay. Enough of that kind of, station identification. Let's get back to the fun content. Okay. Woo! There we go. Somebody said just don't feed the trolls. So I don't see any trolls, but that's fine because I freaking ignore them too. Meh. Got no time for that. Maud Betty ain't got time for that. Okay, where do we go? I love it. Somebody said dropped off 5 carloads of donations in less than a week. It's also okay. Love it. Kit Kat just said I'm stuck with a full walk-in attic. Sentimental stuff. Love that you brought it up and you called it sentimental. All right, everybody. Here's like my hors d'oeuvre tray of handy hints. Look at everything in your home and categorize it into one of 3 categories. Your clutter. It's either going to be surface clutter, stored clutter, or sentimental clutter. And I say that I'm always saying it in that order, those three things, because that's also the order you're going to work on them in to get to where you want to go to. Surface clutter is anything on your surfaces that is simply where it doesn't belong and you need to just put it away or make a decision where it lives. Sometimes you have surface clutter because you have too much stuff stored, and what you need to do is make room in your storage for the things that you really use. And that usually requires you to dump out your stored stuff, make it look temporarily worse before it looks permanently better, decide what you want, categorize it, all the things. Sentimental clutter is oftentimes stored, but what it is, it's different from like the stuff that's stored in your cupboards in your kitchen. It's the sentimental stuff is the stuff that touches your heart, that tells you stories, that makes you feel the feels. And that is the category of clutter that is going to be the one that is going to take most of your energy and not most of your time, but it's going to take much more time to make smaller incremental changes. I'm not saying avoid it. What I'm saying is start with your surface clutter. Start with your stored clutter that's not sentimental. Start to build up your muscles. You don't go into the gym and immediately start with the hardest stuff. I am always surprised at when I start to coach with people that they immediately say, oh, hey, yeah, let's start this whole thing. I've never done it before, but I'm going to start with the most difficult thing ever. You're just setting yourself up to like strain a muscle, hurt, and not want to show up again. So start with the easy stuff, okay? I get that you have sentimental stuff. We all do. It's either memories of our lives, our past lives and our memories, or stuff that we've inherited from other generations. I'm Gen X. I get it, And what I want to suggest is build your muscle, getting clear on what you want in your life with the easy things first. Do I want this cluttery thing on the surface in my life or not? If I want it in my life, I put it away. I find a home for it. If I don't want it in my life, I find a way to remove it from my home and life. I throw it away. I recycle it. I donate it. I sell it. I give it to somebody, whatever. You do that with your surface stuff. You do that with your own stored stuff, your clothes, your stuff in your pantry, your stuff in your closets, the stuff that doesn't have that emotional attachment. And then you will be building the neural pathways in your brain to start thinking about what's important to me and what do I want in my life. And when you start to hone in on that, you will be able to make better decisions about your sentimental items. Okay? Just know it's there, but approach it on this road trip in the right order so you have the muscles to do it. Okay? There we go. What else do we got here? I want to have a home where everything has a place. How do I start that process? It's great. You say, here's the thing. Where do I want it to live in my home? You decide the homes in your homes, okay? And what I want to offer is make a home for your stuff that makes sense to you. Even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else, you're the one who's living in your home. And this is where I have recently realized how much it's not just how your home looks and feels, but it's also how your home functions. That your home has a function. Your home is supposed to help you live easily and simply. So when you're looking for a place where you want things to live, put them in a place that makes sense to you, so that when you go to find it, your brain is already like, oh yeah, I put it in this place because it makes sense to me. It doesn't need to make sense to anybody else because nobody else lives there, except of course your family. Put things away where it makes, where everybody knows where it lives. Okay. Like for example, I have scissors in my house. Let's see. I have a pair of scissors that belongs in the block with the knives. For whatever reason, I've got two pairs of scissors and a little thing in the kitchen there too. I've got a pair of scissors in the bathroom. I've got a pair of scissors here at my desk. I have multiple ones because when I'm there, I don't feel like walking in all the way to the other room to get a pair of scissors. I want to cut off that thread and be done with it. That is a system that works for me. Therefore, I know every time I won't go to get a pair of scissors, I know exactly where to go to. I also know when I'm done with the scissors exactly where they go. Creating boundaries and clear expectations of where things lives helps everybody to adhere to where things go. If you're wishy-washy and you don't know where it belongs, it's really hard to put it away because it doesn't really have a home. So you decide where things live in your home. and decide on a way that makes it look good to you and function well for you, because this is your home. Your home is supposed to support you in living quickly and effortlessly to be able to grab what you need, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, whether it's finding a bill that a receipt that you needed, whether it's, whatever. Finding things easily and quickly and then being able to easily put them back is a way that your home helps your life become easy. Okay. I have a coaching client that met last night. Next week is our last session. And I'm telling you, she was saying, oh my God, everything's so easy. Like, she used the word ease and easy and simple. Like, within the first 5 minutes of our coaching session, she had used that word like multiple times. Like, oh my God, it's just so easy now. It's just so simple. It's so much easier, And so that's what you're also going for is how does your home look? But also, more importantly, how does it feel? And then also part of that feel is how does it function? Does it make your life easier? Because who the heck doesn't want an easier life? I don't know. I do. I feel like decluttering has been dismantling hoarding disorder tendencies that run in your family. Hell yeah, Kay Foster, 3R. Yep, me too. I have hoarding and ADHD and pack rat and collecting in both sides of my family. And this is why I want to be an agent of change, as they say. Oh, I feel like a goober even saying that. I want to help you with that, because I've struggled with it, and I know how much better I feel. My life runs better. I freaking love my life because I have been able to find ways to manage all that baggage and also change the dynamics so that I don't have kids, but I've broken that chain of weird shit about stuff so that I don't then burden my nieces and nephew when I pass with my stuff. Okay. What do we got? Have limited surface space. Have piles of stuff in boxes and large containers, store organizers. All right. Yep. You know what? You got to sort it before you store it. You got to figure out what you want and what you don't want. And then that gives you a better idea of how much storage you use. And get really clear about why you're saving things, especially with papers. We are in, and so I'm Gen X, and I often say this in my coaching sessions. Like, I have one foot in like the pre-digital world, but I am also firmly in the digital world. And notice that we are all kind of in between. Many pieces of paper that we get now in our homes are either printed off copies of something that exists digitally, or a mailed copy of something that exists digitally. So get curious about why you're saving things. And is that still relevant to the way you're living right now? You may just have habits. Like, I do have a habit where we still get some stuff in the mail because I like to look at the mail, and I still file it in an Expando folder. But the cool thing is that habit I have doesn't take a lot of mental load. It takes like 2 minutes, and it makes me feel good because it's like, I know if I ever need to look at that stuff, which like I never do, that I'm going to find it somewhere. And then I, recycle it, or I get it shredded within a couple of years, There you go. Jeremy Made 95, thank you much for offering for the moderator. I tend to ignore those things and I don't see them. But sure, if somebody's being mean to me or anybody else here, like, report them or get them out of the room. We got a good thing going here. We don't need any skunks stinking it up. So there we go. What do we got going here? I love it. Tracy, you're giving somebody. See, here's a wonderful thing. That even everybody who's struggling with something, you also have something to offer to help somebody else. So isn't it great when we're all kind of in the same boat together? Here we go. There you go. My mom never did like things with like things. A drawer would be full of random stuff. Notice how you learned that from your mother. Your mother didn't have those skills, and that is okay. You can learn those skills. The skills of like with like items together. We used to use that all the time when I was a manager at Pier 1, and then, in visual merchandising, What else do we have here? Yay. Thank you for taking care of each other in there when I can't hit everybody. See, that's the funny thing. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a kind of a sneak preview. So today I'm on TikTok, and I love TikTok. I think it's fun, and I've learned so much. And I love meeting the people and my clients from TikTok. However, there tend to be a lot of people and a lot of back and forths here. So I desperately, while I'm trying to provide value and content, I'm also trying to look things. And I sometimes miss things. So thank you for taking care of each other in me while I'm here. I will do the same thing. But think of this as me in the room, and then I've got about 150 people that I'm talking to. Sometimes I don't catch everything. However, I want to let you know that I also, when I do Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live, there is like a 95% decrease in the number of people that show up for those. And I say that to you not as a bad thing for me, because you know what? I love the fact that that's almost like, hey, if you show up at those, it's going to be a much smaller room with fewer people. And so there's more of an opportunity for interaction. So sometimes here I will inadvertently miss your question, but just know that like tomorrow, what is it, Thursday? Oh no, tomorrow's Friday. Let me check. Tomorrow I am doing a TikTok live 11 a.m. Eastern for a half an hour. Then I go to Facebook Live for a half an hour at 11:30. Then I go to Instagram Live for a half hour at 12:30. Then at 12:30 I go to 1 o'clock YouTube. And I also do that kind of later in the day to say hello to my West Coast folks, because I'm so East Coast that I'm often doing things wicked early. But just so you know that there's other opportunities available. There you go. Somebody found a flashlight. Someone was packing for camp. Oh my gosh, all sorts of things. All right. Just becoming an empty nester. Congratulations. And I have such a great desire to declutter and get rid of stuff. Oh my gosh. Of course you do, because it's a new chapter in your life. It's almost like a new volume. Yes, you probably have stuff that were from when you had a nest and now you want to clean out the nest. That's a wonderful thing. Think about the things, honor the things, be cool with the stuff that it was important to you during that part of your life, but also you don't have to hang on to things. Okay? There you go. Bon just said, after I listened to you, I uncluttered almost my whole craft room. I love it. Lynn Gardner is saying, a very close friend is borderline hoarding. Do you think if I help her clean, that can help her start? I love that you want to help your friend clean. I too am that person who sees people with clutter and wants to and has helped people. What I want to offer to you, Lynn, is a couple of things, and to everybody, if you know somebody who's like that, is first of all, ask them if they want help. Don't be judgy. Come, as I said, curiosity, love, compassion. LCC, whatever. Focus brain, focus. You're coming from a good place. Ask them if they want help and offer to help them in a way that they want it. Don't try to declutter at them. Also know that if they're not willing to do it, it's not going to last. Trust me. Trust me. I have literally decluttered people's homes, and if they don't change their mind and they don't change their habits, it gets back to where they want. But also I want to be really clear about hoarding. And I know we've got, TV shows and stuff, and people kind of bandy about that word because it's kind of extreme. Hoarding is a serious mental diagnosis that indicates that there is some trauma and some heavier, deeper shit going on in people's minds. And this is one of the reasons when I am, getting new clients that I always do a consultation, because I look for signs of that, because that is not something I'll be honest, that is not something I am trained in. People who have hoarding diagnoses need to be seen by a licensed medical / psychological professional to get the help they need. This is an outward manifestation of stuff going on in here. So note that if you really think that it's hoarding, you might, with love and compassion, suggest they get some mental health help. It's really hard. I know it. I speak from firsthand experience that it can be really hard, but just know that there's some stuff you might be able to help with. And if they're willing, sure, go at the level and the pace that they want, and always come with it compassion. Other than that, there may be limited things you can do, but continue to support and love your friend and not judge them by what's going on in their lives. Okay? There we go. Oh, this is interesting. Kit Kat went through home foreclosure. Why can't I donate sometimes? Notice you have a thought in your head that's making you feel some way that makes you cling on to stuff that you can't donate. What's the thought in your head that makes you feel like you want to hold on to those things? And then just listen for that thought. Then write it down. I'm always using these spiral bound notebooks. Staples must love me, except I always say if you want to get a spiral bound notebook, go to Staples. At the beginning of the school year, they're like 25 cents a piece. Write it down and be like, is that true? Really? Is that true? Is there an opposite to that? Do I really need to hold on to this, or can I let it go? How does it feel if I let it go? Wouldn't it feel better? Yeah, you know what? So think about, it's all about, and this is true when we're talking about hoarding too. Hoarding means there's a thought in somebody's head that makes them feel a certain way to make them hold on to the stuff. And sometimes what I do as a coach can help many people do this, but I also know my space. And I also never want to set up somebody for failure. So I know when it's above my pay grade, as it were. And I love it for people to get the help they need to change their lives. And if I can do it, great. But if I'm not the person, I will, with love and compassion, say, this is, you probably need something more than I can give. Okay. And I love the fact that we're all kind of mindful about that. But please note, and notice I said mindful, that everybody, it all boils down to, you have a thought in your head that makes you feel a certain way. And when you feel a certain way, you do a certain thing. You may not be aware of those thoughts, but when you become aware of those thoughts, you could get to choose to say, is this helping me live the life I want? Or is this keeping me stuck in a life that I don't want? Is this keeping my home looking like I don't like it? Or could I consciously create an opposite thought that makes me feel better so that I start moving towards that? So all sorts of stuff like that. Interesting. I either hold on to stuff or I toss everything. I need a middle ground. All right. So what does the middle ground feel like? What does that look like? I always say you toss the stuff you love, you don't care for, you keep the stuff you do love, and then you're done. To me, holding on to stuff that you don't love or is not useful for you ain't so great, but also tossing stuff you love isn't so great. So pay attention to how your stuff makes you feel, whether you want to, as I said earlier, like, should I stay or should I go now? Do you want to keep it? If so, awesome, keep it. It's going to light up your life. If it doesn't work for you, maybe it worked for you back in the day. Maybe it doesn't work for you right now. That's okay. Release it. And then you're giving yourself room and space and air and light to find out what does light you up. And sometimes I've found is I don't really need a whole lot of stuff or things to have a life that I love. I like quiet. I like walking. I like, space. I like hanging out with friends. I like traveling, but like, even when I'm traveling, I used to buy a ton of souvenirs. Like I have, like, from kind of other eras of my life, I have a snow dome collection, a plastic snow dome collection with over 100 snow domes, because I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. I still love traveling, but I don't feel the desire to buy the things, So just pay attention to how your stuff makes you feel. And if it doesn't make you feel good, find a way to get it out of your life. Life is too short to feel crappy. There we go. Is memory love? That's how to discard things. Yeah. How to discard things that represent love. I love how you said this. Things that represent love. When you have a thing that represents love to you, notice that the love does not live in the thing. The love is not in the book. The love is in your heart. The book reminds you of the love in your heart. So is there a way that you can be reminded of that love in your heart without holding on to the book? Now, sometimes, I don't know, the answer is no. Like, I'm not saying live a minimalist life with no things around you. If you've seen some of the videos that I've done when I've walked around my house, other people may think, and I really don't care, that my house is cluttered. It's not. What it is surrounded by stuff that I love, that lights me up, that reminds me of good things. But also other times, perhaps you can take a picture of something. I had a client recently who the breakthrough moment we had was when she realized that if she took a picture of an item that had memories for her, she was then able to release the item because she knew she had the picture that would remind her of that memory. So just think about that with your sentimental items. Those are the things that are going to make you feel feelings, and it's okay. You're a human. You're not a robot or a zombie. You are supposed to feel feelings. Allow those feelings to be felt and pass through you. They typically last less than 2 minutes. Allow that to happen, kind of dissolve from you, and then you might be able to release that thing. Maybe you'll be able to take a picture of it and then release it. Or maybe you say, you know what, I still want to keep it. That's okay. You may feel differently later. You may never feel differently. The goal is not to die with an empty house. The goal is to live in a space that feels good to you, that functions well to you, that is easy to maintain, so that your life becomes less effortful, more effortless, easy peasy lemon squeezy. There you go. See, there used to be a show that came in and cleared the clutter. I love that. Yeah, who wouldn't? But the funny thing is, here's a funny thing about this, about decluttering. Is I want to say at the end of the day, no, at the beginning of the day. Decluttering starts up here. if somebody came into your home, I have done this for people, and I realized how it's not the best use of my time or whatever, is if I go to somebody's house, here's how it goes. I will pick up an item. Where's an item? I got some items. Here's an item. I would say to you, hey, what is this? Do you want to keep it or you don't? If you don't want to keep it, do we want to throw it away, recycle it, sell it? If you want to keep it, where does it live? Notice how it has nothing to do with me being in your home, holding that item in your hands. Me being there will kind of not force you, but encourage you to make those decisions about what you want, what stays and goes. But the decluttering starts up here with a thought of, what is that? Do I want it or don't I? So you can do that on your own, you know? So do it on your own. Here's the great thing. I do coaching. I do live coaching. I mean, I do paid coaching with people, but also you can start this on your own without ever paid coaching. You may never even need me as your coach. Now, I will say when people do have me as a coach, that external accountability, that exact honing in on exactly those thoughts that you have that are keeping you stuck, and then creating a roadmap to get you moving forward, and the accountability and all of those strategies, like coaching is like the super highway to get you moving towards that destination you want. But that may not be for everybody. But everything that I say on these TikTok lives, on the videos that I do, on the Zooms that I do for the people on the emails, all of this is to help you, to give you, to build your toolkit so you can start thinking about your clutter differently. Because when you think about it differently, you feel differently. When you feel differently, you do differently. Okay? I'm glad I can help you with my awesome advice. You know what? I know how much it would have meant to me at a certain point in my life to hear somebody sharing the stuff that I'm sharing, and in the way that I'm sharing it, where I'm not being snooty, I'm not being fancy, I'm not using highfalutin words, I'm not wearing a headset with like a tight dress and heels and all that crapola. I want to be that person for you, because I have found in my life that the coaches that resonate with me are the ones that have changed my life. The ones that I would always get something out of something, but man, when I found the person who was like on my wavelength, that's when things shot through the room. I mean, literally, like Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass, like changed my life. And I'm a huge, fangirl. So I also want to be the decluttering coach that can be relatable to people, to say, it's possible for you. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you. I had decades where my life in my home didn't look so great or feel so great. But when I started paying attention to it, things began to change. Here we go. What else do we got here? All right. All right. We have another hour here, people, just so you know. You don't have to stick around, okay? What I would love for you to do, how's about this, is oftentimes when I am on my coaching calls with clients, we get into this wonderful headspace of like possibility and encouragement and like just the opening of the heart and the spark of possibility and wow, could this be it? You know what I would love? Maybe you do even have like 20 minutes from now until 10 until 10:20. Shut off TikTok, shut me off, and then pick up a notebook. Pick up a place where you can get the thoughts out of your head and onto a piece of paper and just sit with yourself and say, yeah, how do I want my home to look? How do I want my home to look and feel? How do I want my life to look and feel? What do I want my life to look like? Between now and my death, what do I want to do? How do I want to feel? What are the experiences I want to have? How do I want my life to live? Get it out of your head, dump that spaghetti in a place where then you can sit down and be like, all right, that's really cool. That's what's going on in my head. Now, how can we get there? You can't get to a destination unless you know what it is. You can't aim for something. If you don't know where you're going, you're not aiming for anything. You're just kind of whatever. But you can start to define your destination. And when you define it, I want you to think of those things that like make you go like, ooh, like I was talking on a coaching call yesterday. I had a wicked lot of clients yesterday. So it's doing a wicked lot of talking. And we were talking about that thing that, when you see something, you go, ooh, and notice how like you say it and your face lights up and your heart feels a certain thing and you almost smile and your body moves forward towards it. Like those things. And I know there's a song from like the 80s or 90s about things that make you go, ooh, or I was thinking about on my morning walk. I got to figure it out. But notice those things and pay attention to them. The things that draw you like a magnet versus the things where you're like, well, whatever. Yeah, I guess I could do that. Sure. Or the things that repel you. like a magnet in the other direction, to be like, ooh, no, I don't even want that. Like, no way. Like, do I want to go to a wrestling match and be surrounded by people who are smoking cigars? Ugh. No, thank you. That might be your jam. Go for it. But pay attention to your body sends you signals. Your body will send you signals about how you feel about stuff before your brain even gets there, right? Can I share this? I'm going to share you guys a funny story really quickly about that because it was so true, about your body sending you signals about how you feel before you even know what's going on. This morning I was on my morning walk and I had stopped at a local coffee shop because I love that I live in a town that has a local coffee shop, and I got myself a cup of tea. Now, of course, I could have come home and made myself a cup of tea, but I like to remain social. So I went in and got myself a tea and I walked home with it. And at a certain point, when I got to be about not even a block away from my house, but pretty close, all of a sudden, my body's like, I gotta pee, right? And it wasn't anything I thought of consciously. My body was saying, we're near the house. I've got this liquid in me. I have to pee, right? Your body tells you, sends you messages about stuff. Pay attention to those things. Your body, whether you like it or not, your body's going to do things like it's not up here, it's there. And it's like, it's going to tell you stuff. So pay attention to your heart, pay attention to your gut, pay attention to whether something makes you move forwards or recoil, or just kind of be in the middle and being like, meh, I guess I could do that, but if I don't do it, it's okay. Versus the things that you love, you say to yourself, what if I don't do that? Am I going to regret not doing that? Like, I'm about to book some travel plans, like as soon as I get off of this TikTok. And that's one of those things where I said, oh, it's a little bit the money, because I got to work on my money issues. But I knew I know I'm going to regret it if I back down because of fear. But there's other things that happen and I'm like, oh no, I don't need to do that. So pay attention to how your body is helping you make the decisions about the stuff that you like. You can even look at your face. When I'm coaching with people, I know immediately by looking at their face, something's going on there, So pay attention to that stuff. All right. All right. So again, since I was in college radio and I feel like it's been an hour since I've been on TikTok, let me do a little reintroduction for any of those people that are just chiming on. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. It's because I freaking love to travel. So we talk about the destination. Okay. And I show up and do TikTok lives. I have a TikTok page. Please like my TikTok page. That would be awesome. But I also have a Facebook page, Instagram, and YouTube channel. About the YouTube channel too, is sometimes what I will do is I will take some of these recorded TikTok lives and I will repost them on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel, because people have told me that it has been helpful for them to be able to listen to these TikTok lives when they are decluttering their home. Just pop it on like a podcast. You don't even need to look at the screen, right? So we've got that stuff, email list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. You get a free habit tracker immediately. You also get the invite to the monthly Zoom that's just for people on the mailing list. Also, I do one-on-one coaching, but because I'm a human who gets distracted, I kind of forgot temporarily this morning to turn back on my calendar for one-on-one coaching consultations. I'm going to do that after I do this and before I get into coaching for the afternoon. So if you are interested in that, just give me a few hours and then go to destinationdecluttered.com. You'll see big orange buttons that say schedule your consultation. And those will go to a calendar where you can pick some times in the next 7 days to do some consults. Okay, there we go. All right, what else? So KFost3R is saying, I struggle with paperwork. Can we take photos of important papers to store digital instead of physical? Sure, why not? The only ones I would say not to would be those ones that are still very important in these days, which things tend to be fewer. So I would say this, like the titles to your car, marriage certificates. What else? Like those wicked important things, like, certain things that it would be really arduous to get another, like a notarized copy, birth certificates, stuff like that. But anything else, sure, take pictures of stuff like that. If you think about it now, many of the things you have, even the things like birth certificates and death certificates, like those are things that if you lose them, at this point, there's a backup copy somewhere. Now, the backup copy may be at like the town hall in the town where the person died, and you need to request it from them. It still is going to be a pain to get it, but you can get it. We rarely have, with the exception of like legitimate single copies of sentimental objects in our world right now, there's almost nothing known as a unique single piece of stuff that if you lose it, you're shit out of luck for forever. And pardon me, I occasionally drop a potty word. If that's for you, I'm not, if that bugs you, I'm not the coach for you. But what I want to say is, digitize as much as you can, but also don't spend so much time. Here's the thing I don't want to do. I'm all about ease and simplicity and allowing you. This is the thing. When your life living is easy, when you can clothe yourself and feed yourself and wash yourself and live with less effort in your home, that reduces the amount of time that it takes you to do those basic things so that you then increase the time you have in your life to do the things you want. I will never encourage you to spend time, scanning documents or shredding documents and all that kind of stuff. I say, put it in a pile, put it somewhere. If you need it, you know where it is, and then go out and play, right? Go out and do the things with the time you have in your life. Do the things that light you up. Okay. So yes, paperwork can be an arduous thing, but you don't need to keep as much paperwork as your brain thinks you do. We need to update to say, why am I saving this? When's the last time I checked back on this thing? If I lost this, could I get another copy? And then you might feel better about releasing some of it. I have a client last night, we were talking, and she's like probably literally decades younger than me. Young mother, family, kids, and all that. And I was asking her process because she was still struggling with like mail that comes into the mailbox, put it on the desk and yada yada. And she was saying, oh yeah, once they pay the bills online, they just throw away the paper copies. I still kind of save mine because some of the things I do use to for my taxes, but other than that, I just have a habit because I'm older and I grew up in the pre-digital era. Digital people are like, what is this paper? Why do I even have it? But notice where you might just examine your habits, and maybe they could use an upgrade that makes your life simpler. Okay, there we go. See, there you go. Cecilia does binders. I put together binders. Auto, house, health, tax. Easy to store, easy for you. I will say I have many clients that get into binders. My mother does binders, so binders kind of drive me nuts. So I use boxes and like Expando folders. That's what works for me, but you do you. If you have a system that works for you and it doesn't take a lot of time and it achieves the result you want, rock on with your bad self. Do what works for you. But if it's inefficient, if it doesn't get you the result you want, break apart, get curious, look at your system. This is where my last corporate job as a process engineer really was a place I didn't want to be in my life, but man, did it work with my parts of my brain. I've realized when I don't use my brain as a filing cabinet to store things, when I free it up to become creative and to solve problems, that's when I'm in the zone. I freaking love it, So there we go. My kids like to shred. My paperwork is getting in order. Thank you. Awesome. I love, honestly, too, when you can offload, when you can delegate. That's the diplomatic word. When you can delegate boring admin processes to other people. If your kids like to shred, go for it. There we go. Everybody has a different system. There we go. I'm going to make a house binder to hand off to the next owner. Rock on. That's great. All of these things, all of these things. Find a thing that works for you, but also notice. Get curious. I'm all about the curiosity. Get curious where you have habits and systems in your home. And notice how I love talking about this stuff without the drama associated with it. Don't judge yourself about it. Get curious. Say, what habits do I have that are adding to my clutter? And what habits do I have? What systems do I have that aren't giving me the result that I want? And when you do that, you can break it down step by step. Notice I said you have a system. The solution to everything is to break it down into separate things and say, it works here. This is where it breaks. This is where it doesn't work, right? Why doesn't it work? Oh, because I have too many steps or whatever. That's one of the things I love helping my clients with, my one-on-one clients, because I say, okay, I don't know your system at all. So you explain it to me. I ask some questions and then we say, okay, how about this? How about that? Would that work for you? Give it a shot. They give it a shot. They come back. They say, well, it worked up to this point and then this failed here. Okay, let's make a better system. So then you get a really cool system in your home that's effortless and easy to keep up, so then you just start living that way, I love it. Used a timer today for laundry, dishes, taking the dog out, done. I scheduled a time for ironing tonight. Oh my gosh, timers and schedule and ironing. I love that. So Maddie, I love it because here's the great thing. And you know what I love is the fact that some people have found the calendar link. I've already seen some calendar bookings. So rock on, people who have found that. I promise I'll turn it on my website. But it's like, what's the link is... Oh my God, it's a big thing. https modbetty.kartra.com. God, my Boston accent's coming out wicked bad. /calendar consultation call. I swear, I'll just do it in like less than an hour. Okay, so if you want to do a consultation. What was I going to say? Structure and boundaries and clarity are gifts to not only yourself, but to other people. Think about it if you went into a job and you didn't know what to do and they didn't have a binder, like they didn't have any instructions and they were like, oh, just kind of do it. Go clean your room. I have never been taught to do that. Just kind of do it. But then you get scolded when it wasn't what they wanted, but they never articulated what they wanted you to do. When you get clear on what looks and feels good to you, you can then communicate it to other people. You can then communicate it to yourself so that you don't clutter up your own stuff. Like my husband, before I went on my trip, we were kind of like two ships. He was away for a week doing some music stuff, and I was alone in the house, just me. We don't have the dog anymore. We never had kids. Love my life, don't get me wrong. But I realized myself, even as a decluttering coach, I kind of let things get a little bit sloppy because it was just me. And then I said, wait a minute, no. It bumps me out to have it sloppy. So then I quickly realized I don't tidy for anybody else. I tidy for myself because when I walk into my home, it feels, this is great, as opposed to, ugh, I'm back here. So do it for yourself. Oh, here's this. Please save this live on YouTube. Okay, Kit Kat, I promise I will. All right. I'm going to say, what day is today? Thursday. I was like, YouTube, the TikTok from today. See, writing it down because I'm not going to remember it up here, which is fine. I solve problems and create creativity up here, but then I write stuff down so it stays there so I can find it today. Great. How to start declutter with depression? I would say get a handle on your depression. Get some help with your depression and it's going to make your decluttering so much easier. All right, my dear, whoever you are, get help with your depression. That's the first step. It'll make all of this so much easier. If you try to do it, but you're ignoring the depression part, it's going to make it so much different. Okay? GGX2000 is saying, can you elaborate on breeze blocking? This is my little breeze block. I'm a little teapot. Okay, so breeze blocking. This is how I get so much more stuff done in my life than I ever have been. And I have turned it into a delight versus a chore. When I think of things as delightful and fun and allowing me the time to say I'm going to have fun versus I feel guilty that I'm doing something and so whatever, instead of thinking of it as a chore, I think of it as a fun thing. And what I do is every day, and I've already done this, even when I get home, I have my notebook that I tear the pages out of, whatever. Wicked easy. Get a notebook, okay? On the side here, no, I split mine in the middle because that's my own thing, but I would say here, write the hours of the day, 6 a.m., 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. And then block out the things that you know you have to do. Like yesterday. See, this is really quick. This is all my coaching, all my other stuff, right? This is to help your brain. Your brain is like an amorphous type of thing. Your brain is going to overexpand the amount of things that you think you have to do and underexpand the amount of free time you have. When you get that out of your head, because your brain is not a good judge of that stuff, and you sit down and you say, oh, okay, noted. This block of time I have from 8 to 9, I have a coaching session. Oh, but then 9 to 10, I've got free time. But then 10 to 11, I've got a coaching session. Oh, but 11 to 12, I'm free. But then 12 to 1, I have a coaching session. When you see those blocks, notice I've got some blocks of stuff that I'm doing, but then I have some blocks of free time. That's why I call it breeze blocking. It's not like when you time block. When you time block, to me, always that made me think of like cement blocks, like solid cement blocks, and you're building a freaking wall that makes me even feel claustrophobic when I think of it. But when I do this, it allows me to see where I've got open spaces in my calendar of around the things that I have to get done and want to get done. That open space makes me feel better. The open space allows me to say, what do I want to do with that time? I want to take a walk with my husband. I want to eat dinner because I need to schedule my dinner between these things. What do I want to happen in those free times? Even, there you go. I want to even just fold the laundry in between sessions because that's my job and I'm going to do that so it doesn't pile up. Okay? Oftentimes, one of the things I hear from folks who are struggling with clutter and decluttering is, I don't have the time. Now, I don't know if you have the time or not, but what I want to suggest from a place of curiosity from yourself is to see if that is true. Notice how you have a thought, I don't have the time. That makes you feel ugh. So then you're saying, I can't do it, so you don't do it. Now, only you know your schedule. So ask yourself, is that unhelpful thought that's keeping me stuck, is that true? Is it possible that you do have some time? So this is a way to just take the drama out of it and say, okay, here is my Wednesday. This is me yesterday. Here are the hours of the day. Here are the things that I have scheduled for a certain amount of time. And then when I look at it, do I have some time in between those things? And if I have some time in between those things, what do I need to do? What do I want to do with those amounts of time? This gives you a non-dramatic, objective look at. Instead of looking at it here, you can't look at it up here. Your eyes cannot go to the back of your head and sort things out here. You need to dump that stuff out, look at a place where you can look at it, and it changes the dynamic. And then you say, okay, you know what? I don't have a lot of time today. I don't have a lot of time, but I bet I have 5 minutes that I could do something. How about this even? 10 minutes. Every day, you have 10 minutes where you could go around and you could do your decluttering of your surface clutter. You also, too, here's a way you can declutter when you say you don't have time, is to notice the habits you have that add to your clutter and start to change those habits. Okay? Start to change those habits, and that is also helping you. It may not be working on what I call your backlog of clutter. Your backlog of clutter is decades worth of stuff and bad habits, or not bad habits, unhelpful habits that get you decluttered. Get you cluttered and stay that way. So yeah, you may need to carve out some time to say, I need to spend some time knocking down all this clutter. But in the meantime, what I can do is pay attention to my current daily habits and see if they add to my clutter or not. And if they add to my clutter, I can change those habits to stop the cluttering. At least you're stopping it. You're not adding to it. And what you're doing is then you're training yourself to stay decluttered. When I coach people, we always work on decreasing the amount of clutter that's accumulated, but at the same time, change the habits so you don't reclutter yourself. And that's why it's so important that you become the person who is changing you, because you need to change what you do on a daily basis. That's how people get recluttered. I can help with that decreasing of the backlog, but if you don't change your thoughts and your hands and your habits, you're just going to reclutter again. There you go. Everybody finds a system that works for you. I save the tasks I can do in the evening while watching some TV, like folding laundry, dusty, etc. I find choosing one small spot each day helps. It builds up. A bedside table, yes, a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time is the only way anything really of effort gets done. If you think about every single thing in your life. It wasn't one big plop, here it is. It's incremental. So the incremental stuff is how you got the way you are, and it's going to be the way for you to get to where you want to be, because you're going to be intentional about it, okay? And you're going to be saying, does this thing I'm about to do lead me to the destination decluttered? See what I did there? Does it lead me to the life I want to look, the life I want, the way I want my home to look, or Or see, this is a deal. It's like you're at a crossroads, a little Y at the end of the road. Is what I'm about to do at this juncture. Pretend these are two roads. This is a road you're on. You're on your driver, and you're at like a fork in the road, like a Y, like a divining rod. And you say, is this thing I'm about to do or say or eat or buy or whatever leading me to that the way I want my home and life to look and feel and function? Because if I don't drive down that road, I have to drive down the other road, and the other road leads away from it. Or you don't do anything, you stay stuck where you are. You don't go. You're not, even if you're stuck, you're kind of away from where you want to go. What can you do today to drive your life? Where does it say it? I got listen to your co-pilot. Yeah. What can you do today? This is a little mug I made for myself to drive your life in the direction of your dreams. I inspire myself all this time. It's like, what am I doing today to drive my life in the direction of my dreams? And what I'm doing is I'm showing up for 2 freaking hours. I'm here for another 40 minutes, people. Why did I say 2 hours? Luckily, I don't have to pee, or else I may have to excuse myself. But I love coaching. I love helping people. So this is adding to that life, how I want my life to look and feel. I want to feel like I can help the world with the stuff that I've learned through trial and error, through the school of hard knocks, whatever it is. I've learned some stuff that has transformed my life, and it lights me up to share it. One of the things I've learned about myself that I really enjoy is discovering cool things and then sharing them with people so they can benefit from it. So I love that dynamic. So that's why I show up and I do TikTok and I do live and stuff like that. But I also know my destination, how do I want my life to look and feel? I don't want to spend any more time with the mundane tasks of living in my home that I have to. So I have found ways to chunk it down and keep it so simple that I spend less amount of time doing the maintenance on my home and my body and my, food and laundry and dishes and, all that stuff. I minimize that so I have a maximum amount of time to go out and do the things that I love, right? And the things that I love can be as great as I'm about to book some international travel as soon as I got off this call. They can be as simple as I love to go out and sit on my patio. Now, today's not a patio sitting day because it's cold and miserable, but I also love to go take a walk alone, maybe with my husband. I like to walk by my neighbor's house and wave and say, hi, neighbor. I like to sit with a cup of tea. I like to, scroll on TikTok, think of the things all the little details that make your life the way you want it to be, drive your life in the direction of your dreams. What's the life you dream of living? Oops, wrong one, sorry. What's the life you dream of living? The more detail you can make it, the more you know that you can achieve it. And the great thing is at least the way I coach and the way I live, is we don't postpone joy. We don't postpone it till we get there. Say, oh, no. You incorporate that joy every day a little bit in your life. And you know how you do that? Because you breeze block. You write down and you do the things you have to do. But then you say, I also am going to make the things I want to do a priority in my life. Because tomorrow's not guaranteed for anybody. We never know what's going to happen. Heck, when I get off of this TikTok live, I have no idea what messages await me. But I am still going to plan on, these are the things I want to happen in my life, so that when life happens, it can kind of have you ever been on like a, like you're driving your car, your real car, right? And you're going over a bridge, or I even think sometimes of like when I've been driving in like the farmlands of Delaware, like all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, a big gust of wind that you don't expect, that's invisible, that you don't even know is coming, can make you swerve, right? And if you don't watch it, if you're not paying attention, you could steer away. But if you're paying attention, you can get off course, but then you can course correct and continue to go back to the life you love, regardless of what life brings you, because you know where you're aiming for. If you don't really know where you're aiming for, you can get caught up in the drama and the overwhelm, and you can allow those things to take you totally away. There we go. Your content helps motivate me. I wish more people on TikTok were in Pacific time. A lot of it interesting. Dream Girl 7. It's nice to see you. Just so you know, tomorrow I'm actually starting at 11 a.m. Eastern and going to, let me just double check. 11 a.m. Eastern to 1 o'clock. And I'm going to be hopping from TikTok to Facebook to whatever. So I was thinking about you Pacific, West Coast people. And I scheduled stuff late tomorrow. And next week I will always do that. I will always show up on my my other properties, because I know not everybody who struggles with TikTok, not everybody who struggles with clutter is on TikTok. So I try to be on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So I always show up for them a little bit, and I always try to do at least one session where I start much, quote, later in the day for me, which is early for the Pacific Coast people. Okay, I think it's very curious that a lot of content creators are in the East Coast time. I like that, Okay, so here's an interesting thing. Okay, Dream Girl, I'll answer this. I think many people find it overwhelming to declutter solo. Physically, it's a lot without assistance, but also it can kind of get boring. That's why sometimes try this. It has helped with people with ADHD. There's this thing in the ADHD world called body doubling, where you just kind of, you may not be in the same space with somebody, but you've got a connection to say like, hey friend, I'm going to be decluttering my house for an hour. You want to declutter your house? And you either stay on Zoom or you say you're going to check in. Knowing that somebody else is doing it at the same time can make it more interesting, but also have it fun. Put on some music, have some fun with it. These are things in your home that you ostensibly have because you want them. So go on a journey of discovery. Go on like a treasure hunt. See what you find. Make it fun. When you make it fun, it's more likely that you're going to show up and show up and show up and show up. If it's boring, you do that too. There we go. Evelyn says my son loves to bottle double. It works for him. Yeah. Find what works for you. And when I say what works is the thing that you do that gets you the result you want. Find those things, use those tools, create your own toolkit. So when I do coaching with people, I talk about we create a toolkit because we're in a car, I'm using the metaphor to say when I get stuck and my car is not moving in the direction that I want, I go and I open up the trunk and I pull out my toolkit and I say, what tool do I have in my kit that gets me moving again, moving in the direction that I want to go? And your toolkit can start with the basics that I give you, but then you tailor it to make the things that work for you. I've got my own toolkit. What are my toolkits? I breeze block my day. I brain dump the things that I have. I do that on paper. I also use online. I use Trello. I keep on looking for my phone. This is so goofy. I keep on looking for my phone, forgetting that I'm talking right into it. But I was on my morning walk this morning, and one of the things I do is I don't store things in my head. I do that and I free up my head for problem solving and creativity and possibility and inspiration. All that good brain stuff that only my brain can do. If I use my brain as a storage unit, stuff can also be stored elsewhere. This is the thing. It's like when I am using that, I am not allowing my brain to do the things that only it does best, which is creativity and problem solving and all that cool stuff. Same thing with you. So what I offer that has really worked for me is to don't expect your racehorse to be a workhorse. Use your brain to be the best it can be. And you can outsource the storage of your ideas to other things. A notebook. Don't get all cluttery with a bunch of piece of papers and Post-it notes. That gets overwhelming. Find one notebook. Write this stuff down. Get it out of your head. It's like weeding your garden so that the thoughts, the good thoughts and ideas can flourish, right? Or you can do it online. Like I have an online Trello board that I use that I literally will be on my walks or doing something and I'll be like, ooh, inspiration. I better keep that because I'm not going to keep it up here. This is like my brain at this point is kind of like a lint roller and the tape ain't so sticky anymore. So I talk to my phone and I make myself a note to remind myself of things like that so that I'm more likely to do them. If somebody's mowing their lawn outside, I hope you don't hear that. Okay, they're quiet now. All right. I have 12 hours of X-ray yearly recertification classes. I'm decluttering my closet as I watch. There we go. Sign up for, there we go. Kendra, sign up for a free consult. It will help motivate you to start. It sure helped me. Awesome. Yeah, do that. What do we got going here? I'm just looking at my other screen here. Okay, we got some calendar bookings pending, and this is not me. I'm just like, okay, so yeah, if you want to, even if you're not ready to sign up for a consultation, maybe you don't even think one-on-one coaching is for you, that's fine. Hopping on the Destination Decluttered email list, what I have learned from folks is that these monthly Zooms, these free Zooms that I do just for people on my mailing list, are really helpful to remind yourself you're not alone, to get encouragement and motivation and support from people that you don't even know, but we're all struggling with the same stuff, you know? So do what feels right to you, but please do, as another human to another human on this planet, do something today that gets you even one step closer to that life that you dream of living. One step closer is one step closer to that and one step further away from the life you're living now. No, I'm not saying abandon what you have. No, take stock. Take inventory of what you have that's working, that you love, and keep that and work it and bring it with you. But the stuff you don't love, the things that aren't working for you, how about today being the time that you decide that it's not, that it's time to release it? You can use any humans like to, the way our society works and the way we do, we want a fresh start. So how about this? Yesterday was the solstice, right? It's halfway through the year. 6 months from now is going to be December 22nd. Even in 6 months, what do you want your home to look and feel like and function like in December of this year? And I encourage you to start today. If you start now, don't wait until November 30th. If you start now, you're going to be more likely to show up. It's going to feel better. You're going to learn more about yourself, and you're more likely to have it feel good when you do it, so that by the time December rolls around, what are you doing for your December holidays? Are you having people over? Do you do things? Think about your future. How do you want even this coming December to look? And start working towards that. It's easy peasy starting now versus racing at the end. And I know ADHD people like that dopamine rush of like the scurrying and the panic and stuff like that, but that's not good for your body. It's not good for your heart. So how about this? Start now and make it fun. Learn ways you can get dopamine into your everyday decluttering. Make it fun. Look at it as a treasure chest. Set your timer. Pretend you can't move out of the room because you've got a force field. Like all sorts of fun things you can do. All right? What else we got? How do you keep your toolbox out of your head and available to you when you need it? Well, actually, the toolbox is in your head. And basically, at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, the toolbox is your knowledge that you have thoughts in your head that either help you or hinder you, that are helpful thoughts that get you going in the direction you want, or they're thoughts that keep you stuck. That's the only tool you really need, is to know that this thought is either moving me forward in the direction I want or keeping me stuck in the life that I don't want. And knowing that, this is the most important tool, the knowledge and belief that you can take that unhelpful thought, translate it into a more helpful thought, which is kind of just creating the opposite. When you think of the opposite of your unhelpful thought, the opposite of your unhelpful thought is a helpful thought. And a helpful thought is going to make you feel better. A helpful thought makes you feel, I can do this. I can do this. I want to get there. So I'm going to do something that's going to get me there. And then that helpful thought ends up in action. And what I like to say is aligned action, because it's action aligned with moving forward in the line towards your dreams. If you have a thought that keeps you stuck, that's an unhelpful thought. Examining that thought and saying, here, there's some ingredients in here that I can use to create a better thought that will nullify that one so that I start moving again. Okay, there we go. This is so funny. Even TikTok is saying, great job. You've gone live for 90 minutes. Don't forget to take a break. I know that, TikTok, and thank you. I will take a break in 28 minutes and then I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, what else can I do? Help you? There we go. Malt Shop Oldies get me cleaning the best for some reason. Different music feeds my soul. Oh my gosh, I'm married to a musician. Music inspires me to no end, but I enjoy music so much that I find when it's on, I am paying more attention to the music. So I always joke the fact that I married a man who makes noises for a living, and yet boy do I like quiet. It's kind of funny, but it works. And so I love music so much that I'll be, instead of decluttering, I'd be dancing around in the kitchen. I'd be singing along, and you can do the dancing and the singing along and the decluttering. Trust me. We've all seen those commercials. There we go. What else? Yep, there we go. Music. I love it. Somebody's saying, that's my problem. Pieces of paper everywhere. Okay. Notice that. When you notice your problem, the opposite of your problem is your solution. Okay. So if your problem is pieces of paper everywhere, do this. Get yourself a notebook. get yourself a notebook and get in the habit of, instead of writing things down on little pieces of paper everywhere, train yourself. Put your notebook in a place that's easy to access. And anytime you have a thing that you normally would write down on a little piece of paper, you write it in your notebook. So you always just go to that notebook. That becomes your one spot for all that stuff. Now, sometimes paper works, sometimes digital works. If you're not convenient, if you have your phone with you all the time, like I have my phone with me, it may be better for you to get a digital place where you can be like the guy on Twin Peaks and be like, Diane, take a note, I left this piece of pie, right? You can hold up your phone and record a note to yourself. This is what I do, as I said, and I'm thinking of doing, and I'll send this out to the people on my Destination Decluttered email list. I was actually thinking about this and wrote a note to myself, spoke a note to myself when I was on my morning list of doing like a little, I did last month, I did a, what do you call it? Like a workshop on how to breeze block your time. So if you're on my mailing list, you either attended that or you got a link to the recording of it. But I'm thinking of doing another one that talks about the digital version of this, where it's just kind of when you gather your thoughts digitally, because what I find is I like the combo, is I have a massive like Trello free thing that I use, that everything that I normally would store up here, I have outsourced somewhere else, so that I feel okay that, like, I'm not going to have to remember all the stuff we need to do for the house, or all those ideas that I have for travel, or all those movies that we want to watch, or the things I got to do for the day, or ideas that I have for my stuff. I outsource a lot of that to then free my brain up to do the good stuff, which is come up with ideas in different novel ways and things that entertain me and help people with the client stuff. So I will say, yeah, I will, I'm thinking of doing that. So I'll send that out, because I cannot believe it, you guys. How crazy is this that, where is it? I'm looking at the calendar. I have two like screens here. So bear with me. So like literally a week from this Saturday is July 1st. July 4th weekend, whatever. Crazy how the time is flying. So let's make the most of the time we have. What do you want your home to look and feel like before July 4th weekend? What can you do between now and then to get it there? So there we go. What time is my live tomorrow? Somebody is asking, and I will say this. Let me first look. Wednesday, Thursday. See, I'm literally the paper person because I'm not keeping it up here. 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, I will show up on TikTok for half an hour doing a live. After that, I will pop over to the Destination Decluttered Facebook page at 11:30 Eastern and do a half hour there. Then at noontime Eastern, I will hop from the Facebook page to the Instagram page, and I'll be there for a half an hour. And then at 12:30 Eastern, I will go from the Instagram page to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel and do a half an hour there. I do that because not everybody is on TikTok, and there are many people that struggle with clutter who are not here. So I want to get the word out that there's help if people need it. But the other thing is that I will tell you right now, even though you're on TikTok now, the amount of people that show up for those other three like platforms decreases by like 90+%. So there's more of an opportunity for you to get a little bit of like a feel for what it could be like a one-on-one paying attention to your specific problem. I mean, you'll still have to type it in because I don't go like live on these things. I only do that with the people on my mailing list and on my paid coaching. But at least it gives you a flavor of what a difference it can make to get somebody with a new perspective who has a skill set that could help you, honing in exactly on the problems that are keeping you stuck so that we can get you moving in the right direction. Okay? There we go. What? Did it? Yeah, okay, here's the funny thing. You get your Post-its, your paper girl, your Post-its. I get that. I have Post-its myself, but I use them temporarily for things. I don't use them for permanent. Even take all your Post-its. A good thing would be is like take all your Post-its and stick them onto one page of your notebook so they're there, and then at least you have one place to go for them, okay? There you go. Dawn, I am glad you have enjoyed my content. That's why I do it. I actually have fun doing this. Here's the funny thing, you guys. If I didn't have fun doing this, I wouldn't be doing it. I would find something else to do because I know what a difference it makes to have your energy behind what you're doing is something you're excited about versus kind of like meh or ugh, you know? There we go. Dream Girl is saying the mental skill of organizing is a separate issue of the physical work, which is hard without assistance. I agree with that 100%, Dream Girl. But what I would suggest is, here's what I think in that respect, is you can do 90% of, 90%, 99 or 100% of the decluttering happens up here. If you're struggling with the physical stuff, that's when people with hands can come in and help you. Do you have a friend who would be willing to come and help you and you just kind of tell them where things go? Do you have a family member? Do you have somebody who could, volunteer from your community? Do you have a person you can hire to do the physical stuff? The physical stuff can be done by anybody because they're just looking for direction. And the direction comes from you and the thoughts that you have. Once you make those decisions, you can kind of boss somebody around to say, hey, hands, do this. They don't even need to engage their brain. They just need to do what you say. But you can't do what they can't do what you say unless you know what you're going to tell them. Kit Kat is cleaning out their junk drawer. I love it. So I will be here for another 20 minutes. And anybody else who has any questions about decluttering, I will say I personally, in the what is it, true disclosure of feeling like doing things that are fun. I'm going to take a sip of water or tea, cold tea at this point. Cold gin? I don't know. A 2-hour TikTok live is a little bit long for me. I showed up more than an hour today on TikTok because I had not been around for a while. I go traveling. This is how my life works. I am on the grid when I'm on the grid until I'm not on the grid. And I say the grid, I mean the digital grid. When I am off TikTok, when I'm off social, it means I'm off traveling and enjoying my life that way. So today I thought, oh, you know what? I'll kind of make up for it. I will do a longer thing. Here's an interesting thing. The reason I bring it up is sometimes we think we need these big swaths of time to get a lot of decluttering done. And not to say that, everything can be done in 15 minutes. The more time you spend doing it, the closer you're going to get. It's just like a road trip, right? But sometimes when you show up for too long, your energy begins to wane and you're not making the best decisions, So sometimes showing up and even just taking breaks to go and do it for an hour and then refill your tank and then do it. It's just like a road trip. You don't want to drive, blah, blah, blah. And I'm finding myself right now at these last few minutes of this TikTok live, a little bit drained, It's not surprising. I have talked nonstop and I am typically not a talking person. I am a quiet person in my real life. This is also my real life, but when I know I'm going to help people, I will show up, Yeah. And what I want to also say is, I am realizing myself, this is the journey I'm on. I'm like, ooh, you know what? I need to take a break. Physically, I'm feeling a little bit spent. Okay, so notice those things too. When you say to yourself, oh, I just need, I'm going to spend all Saturday. I'm going to spend all Saturday working on the clutter. Notice that you will do that, but then as your energy level begins to fade, because it will, because you've got a human body that constantly needs its energy to be replenished, that you will not get as good a result when you are trying to do it when your energy is low and your decision making, what do we call that? Executive function, but also your decision muscle. I can't even think of it. Your decision making is a little bit more hard. It becomes slower and more arduous and less fun. So that's why I always recommend to chunk things down into smaller bits, to take breaks. It's like being on a road trip. Instead of driving 6 hours straight from Pennsylvania to Boston, we drive a few hours, you get out, you stretch, you pee, you get a snack, you get in, you get out, you stretch, you probably pee again, you get something to eat. You break it up into little chunks so that when you show up, you're not all cramped up and having to recover. You show up and you can actually enjoy your destination, And it is my passion. Yeah, it's really wacky, but it's I know what it's like to be cluttered and stuck and unhappy. I also now know what it's like to be decluttered and moving and happy. Unhappy, did I say unhappy? Yes, the opposite of what I am, now the opposite of what I was. And I want many more people to feel that way, because when you feel better, you do better, not just for yourself, but notice, if I wasn't feeling so great, if this didn't work for me, I wouldn't be showing up for you. I wouldn't be here at all. I'd be like, oh, this sucks. I don't know what to do. I wouldn't be on TikTok helping people, right? I joined via email but missed the Zoom. Can text reminder be sent? I don't text people. I don't text. I don't right now. I find that a bit invasive. But what I will do is I can make a note for next month, which is the June, what did I say, July? July 13th at 8 p.m. I will do a 15-minute reminder. But here's the funny thing. So Stacy, I love this, is sometimes we need to set reminders for ourselves to do certain things. The way my brain goes, and a lot of ADHD people, is using the timers and your calendar, using the tools that work for you. So what I will say is, if you're on the mailing list already, you haven't received the invite for the July Destination Decluttered members only Zoom. I will be sending that out today. But when you get it, if it's something that's important to you, put it on your calendar to make it happen. Put it on your calendar and carve out that time to make it happen. The other thing is too, is when that day comes, set yourself a timer, a reminder, an alarm on your phone to say, hey, she's going to be on, what did I even say? I said 8 p.m. Eastern, so whatever time that is for me. So set yourself a reminder on your phone on that for 7:45 or whatever the 15 minutes is before then. Make it important to yourself. And I say this not to kind of dismiss it and be like, hey, do it yourself. I do that to empower you, because this is how you get the important stuff done in your life, is to make it important to you and take those little baby steps to say, this is important enough for me to put it on my calendar. This is important enough for me to carve out that time that I don't schedule anything else. This is important enough for me to set myself a reminder so I show up. That little process right there, you can cut and paste that to everything you want to do that's important, and you will get so much more likely to get it done. There you go. And Gigi Gina said, see, set up a reminder on your phone. And I love it. I love it. Evelyn says, on Saturday, I set up a time frame for decluttering and then enjoy the rest of my Saturday. Exactly. Clock out, people. Clock out. Boundaries are a good thing. Here's a funny thing I will share with you that I feel like this is like I remember feeling like that my generation, talking about my generation. I'm Gen X, so we're kind of a secret nebulous kind of generation, right? And I noticed that I had a different thought process than some of these younger folks that were coming into this company I had. And maybe because I was a previous new waver punk rocker, anti, what do you call it? Anarchist, whatever. But I would see them be like, oh no, I have my work phone. They get in touch with me all the time. And I'm like, boundaries, people. Because when your boundaries can help you, so allow yourself, and so clock out from the decluttering and quiet your brain to say, I'm going to do, and this helps you too. When you say, I'm going to declutter from 10 to 11, and then at 11 I'm done, and I'm going to have my fun. That when you go to have fun, your fun is 100% fun. That's a Matthew Sweet album, I think. 100% fun. When you're doing your decluttering, then you say, I'm done, and I did that, and rock on, and you congratulate yourself for what you did, and then you kind of close that down, and then you say, now I'm going to have my fun, and I'm going to be fully present in my fun. I'm not going to be multitasking and then eroding my enjoyment of my fun by still being attached to that kind of thought of I should be doing something else right now. You deserve to have 100% fun. You deserve to spend 100% of your focus on the things that you truly enjoy. That's what I do. That's why I get off the social grid and I don't show up for my coaching and I don't show up for social media posts and I don't do any TikTok lives, because you know what I'm doing when I'm not doing that? I am being 100% immersed in where I am right then, because I will never be there again. And if I start to fragment it, next thing you know, I'm like doing a TikTok live, but I'm missing rainbows and I'm missing like things that I will never see again. Okay? So I say this to you to have a quality of life that feels good. And if you're feeling like, somebody, German maid, I think, was saying how you kind of multitask with TV and folding laundry. If that works for you, that's cool. But to me, also think of, you deserve to be able to watch that TV show uninterrupted and just get into it, because when you are doing it, when you are multitasking, you're not giving 100%, you're not giving your best to either project. You're missing some things, some subtleties on the movie or the TV show you're watching. And also, then, like, you're missing some of that stuff when you're folding your laundry. But then when you're doing stuff over here, you're also not folding well, you know? So I find it so much more satisfying to train myself to not try to multitask. I train myself, oh my God, to say, I'm going to wait to do that until I'm at a better place, even if it's not responding to a text while I'm driving. You know, there is power in saying, not now, not no, just not now, right? So, yes, anti-disestablishmentarianism, right? Rock on. That's a really long kind of, if I did a tattoo, first of all, it would get all smudgy because my skin is like tissue paper. But yes, I'm a total anti-disestablishmentarianist. Okay, there we go. Downsizing my bag of coats, one big bag at a time. Thank you. You're welcome. So unorganized. Yes, I will set up phone reminder. I need to use and don't. Brain, yes. Brain exploding, remembering things, right? So use the tools you have. You have tools available to you more so now than ever before. Use the technology and the tools that you have at your disposal to make your life better. Do not allow your brain to explode. If your brain is exploding, it's bottle up and explode. Now I'm channeling Elliott Smith. Download that stuff. Get the stuff out of your brain. I don't know. I will always say this. It's like spaghetti in a pot. It's all swirly, 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 swirlerson. Dump that spaghetti out. Dump it out and then look at it and then organize it. I did a video of this. It's always pinned to the top of my Destination Decluttered TikTok page. Because this is what changed for me, is when you dump the stuff out and you don't just dump it and leave it there. No, you dump it out and then you examine all the thoughts. And you say, is this helping me, or is this helping me, or is this keeping me stuck? Is this getting me moving? And if it's getting me stuck, how can I translate that unhelpful thought into a helpful one to get moving? And then I will get moving. Okay? But the best thing you can do is then when you dump those spaghetti thoughts out where you can look at them and deal with them one at a time, you don't have to deal with them all right away, but you get them out, then you can chip away at it a bit at a time. Then that quiets your brain. It quiets your brain. It calms down your backseat drivers so that your co-pilot, your soul, God, whomever, universe, can finally speak up and be like, you know what? You got this. You can do this. I know this is different from something you've ever done before, but you know what? When you do all that, it gives me time to speak up. And you've got a voice inside you that wants you to live the best life you possibly can. But it's really hard to hear that voice with the party going on up here and the spaghetti and the constant chatter. You know, it's like a difference between being on a TikTok live with 200 people versus being on a Facebook live with 10. You can quiet things down. You can listen for that part of you that hopefully doesn't sound like my voice because it's all high and whiny like George Costanza. But you've got a voice inside of you that's saying the stuff that I'm saying. You got this. You can do it. You are worth it. I am worth it. You know, sometimes it's better. It feels better to feel like it's external. But remember, all these thoughts and all these feelings are still just in you, right? You got this. You can do it. It isn't as hard as you think it's going to be. And even if it's a little bit hard, it's so freaking worth it. It is so freaking worth it to be driving your life. Where's my little cup I made for myself? Driving your life in the direction of your dreams. It's like me being here in Pennsylvania, but wanting to be in Palm Springs, California when it's cold here, right? I've got Palm Springs on the brain. Ain't nobody stopping me if I'm going to do that 40-hour drive. Of course I'm going to take breaks, but I'm also enjoying the journey because I'm so freaking excited about where I'm going to go. It's the same thing about you creating that destination in your life about what you want your life to look and feel like. It feels differently when you know you're heading towards that, you're doing it for a reason that lights you up. Okay? And that makes it more of a road trip than a commute. A commute is being like, I got to do this. Oh, whatever. This is never going to get done. We're doomed. It's a destination I'm not so thrilled about. So the entire journey is kind of dread or meh or resignation, excuse me, resignment. Look at me, I'm making up words. So just think about that. This is the thing that I love about the fact that I freaking called it Destination Decluttered. Destination. Where are you aiming? Where are you driving your car? When you are in your metaphorical car of your life, when you look out the windshield of that car. Now, this is one of the things that I'll offer you this tool for your toolkit. I do this in my consultation. So if you've signed up for a consultation, I'm going to, give you a sneak preview. We will sit there. We will take 3 deep breaths. And then I will say to you, softly close your eyes, whatever, and pretend you're at a drive-in movie theater and you're looking out your windshield to that big white screen, and the movie on your screen starts to flicker on, and the movie is called My Awesome Future Life. And then think about what are the little scenes that come up when you quiet down, you take your deep breaths, you close your eyes, you quiet down your backseat drivers, you just get chill. What are the things that pop up? What are the smells? What are the sounds? What are the sights? What are the destinations that you want more of in your future? And then write that stuff down. That's your destination. And then you say to yourself, okay, knowing that that's what I want my home to look like, that's what I want my home to smell like. That's how I want to feel when I'm in my home. I want to open the door and have my friends over. I want to walk in and it's going to smell fresh and clean because the windows are open and the sun is shining and everything is clean. It doesn't smell like stinky garbage and cat boxes. I want my home to be a place that if a friend stops by unexpectedly, I feel cool with just opening the door and saying, come on in and have a cup of tea. I want to walk into my own home, regardless of anybody else, and I want to feel good when I walk in my home. I want to feel like, I am home. I am safe. I am relaxed. I feel good here. I am taken care of. It is simple to live here. I don't walk in and say, ugh, I'm putting on my blinders because I can't even deal with it. And then I'll just go sit and then scroll on my phone and go to bed and then wake up and look at my phone and then go like this and leave and then come back. What I want to offer is I am a life coach. I am a certified life coach. And sometimes when you say, what do you want your life to look and feel like? That is too overwhelming. I get it. People ask me that. What do you want to do with your life? Remember that video, right? I want to rock. And I do rock right now. But I didn't always. But that question of what do I want my life? Nobody even said look and feel like, what do you want to do with your life? I'm like, I don't know. So then I didn't. And I got some good stuff done. But when you say to yourself, okay, that's a little bit too big. Let me chunk that down. What do I want my home to look like? Does it look like that now? No. Okay, cool. How does it not look the way I want it to look? I can solve these little problems. Okay. And the neat thing is, this is why I kind of weave, like I braid together like my life coaching and decluttering, because you can learn the skills to change your life while you're decluttering your home. Because all that decluttering is, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, is you saying, what do I want my life to look and feel like? What do I want my home to look and feel like? And now knowing that, now that I have a picture in my mind of what I'm aiming for, does this item fit with that life or not? And the answer can be yes. And then if the answer is yes, cool. Where do I want this thing to live? Where is its home? So I can find it easily. It doesn't add to my visual clutter. And I know exactly where it is if I'm going to go find it. But if you have some stuff in your life right now, your backlog of clutter, and then you say to yourself, okay, this is where I was. Here's where I am now. Where do I want to be? Right? And the things that you have right now, you say, yeah, those don't fit with the life I want. That is okay. And that's okay. As I said in my video yesterday, and my Gen X friend from freaking kindergarten, Andy Havens, commented on it too. And that's okay. It's okay that the things that used to bring you joy or you used to save don't fit in the life you want. Knowing that it's okay, release those items from your life, and you're going to get so much closer to the life you want. Okay? I got quite a bit done to declutter. This week I had total knee replacement. It hurt so bad. Any tips? Okay. That sucks that you are in physical pain. Just remember to accentuate the positive, the stuff you did get done, and know that you're going to heal, and know that the decluttering happens in your head. And if you have a good, notice the thoughts in your head. How do they make you feel in your heart? And when those two things, your head and your heart, what do they make you do with your hands? Do they make you do nothing and you stay stuck? Or do they make you declutter and go towards your dreams? Okay? So that's what I want to offer. And that's what I did offer. And now I'm going to sign off because it's 10:59. Again, I'm Beth, Destination Decluttered. I'm a certified life coach that does, decluttering coaching. I work one-on-one with people. I will be sending out the link to I will be turning on the link to my consultation calendar within the hour. If you go to destinationdecluttered.com, you can sign up for a consultation about possibly working together. Also there, you can sign up for the free Destination Decluttered mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. You will immediately get a habit tracker that's kind of fun and road trip manifested. You will also immediately be getting the link to the monthly Zoom call that I'm going to do with just the people on my mailing list that is on Thursday, 7:13 at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then lastly, if you haven't liked my TikTok page, please like it. Also, if you know people who are cluttered that you think what I'm doing might help them, please spread the word. If they're not on TikTok, I'm also on Destination Decluttered on Facebook, Destination Decluttered on Instagram, and Destination Decluttered on YouTube. And as promised, I think it was Kit Kat asked if I could share the recording for this TikTok live to, I'm going to upload that to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. There's also a ton of those there, so if you want to just pop one of those on while you're decluttering, people say it happens, okay? And yes, decluttering happens in the brain. I will do that. I am good. I like to keep promises to myself and to other people, so you can rely on me with that. And I will see some of you perhaps tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on TikTok, and then we're going to hop around. We're going to do a little, a tour of all the Destination Decluttered properties, and I hope this helped. Remember, you've got this. You deserve to live a life, that decluttered life that you want to live, okay? You got this. Do something today to get yourself closer to that life, and I'll see you tomorrow, right? Bye.